Oh, I loved it, Turtle. I've got lots of thoughts on it. So many thoughts. I want to make a video on it. I just haven't gathered my thoughts yet. Basically, I love, and this is what I'll call it because I think that's what this is what it really is. And I don't know if anyone else has referred to it as this, but I love that it's like a boss rush mode. And I really want to make a video, and my video is going to be titled that. To say, Jagex needs to do boss rush modes more, or something like that. I have an idea. I don't know whether I'm going to have the time to consolidate my thoughts to make the video on it. But I love the aspect of a boss rush mode. I think they failed with dungeons for the most part. For me personally, that didn't captivate me. I love dungeon content. Absolutely love it. I just think every other MMORPG does it a million times better than what they attempted there. It's a shame. That is my personal opinion, harsh as it is. I think Jagex do a fantastic job of boss design, and they've capitalized on that with Sanctum, with a triple boss rush mode, where they ease people in through introducing mechanics gradually through each encounter, escalating in difficulty, to then getting to one of the most difficult pieces of content in the game in terms of the pace of the fight. But then they allow, due to the good design with the telegraphing, they allow people to complete the encounter in a more effective, rewarding way. But it's extremely fast paced, but they break it up. Because if I was doing that boss at that pace constantly, because this game's about farming boss content, it's just the way it is. Unless they succeed with raid or dungeon content at some point, which has a lot more variety and lengthier in time. Length in time of encounters from like 20 to 30 minutes long. If they don't succeed in that at any point, then this game is mainly about farming the same thing over again. So it gives a bit of variety, having two bosses that are easier. So you have a bit of a chill break whilst you're still doing content, and then ease up to that instant kind of rush of high tempo gameplay, and then it eases off again and lets you get back into it again. And I know some tryhards absolutely will still keep the other two bosses high tempo, but they're still not as high tempo as the last boss. The last boss, one blink of lapse of concentration and you're probably dead. You need to do 2 lapses of concentration in a row now due to the Masterwork Mage Armor. But like before the Masterwork Mage Armor, you would pretty much be dead after 1 lapse of concentration. So that's what I'm getting to. Hopefully there's my thoughts. I like it. What do you think? I'm so tired. I've had like my full day at work. I've done loads of stuff. I've played football, parents versus kids in a football match. I've done loads. And I'm shad. But that's my thoughts. And maybe I should make that into a video and clip it. Turtle McGirdle. He replies with, I love it. My 2 major thoughts were, 1, I thought the movement-based mechanics was so cool, as we haven't really seen that before. Yeah, agreed. They did capitalize on the point-and-click kind of movement. I think my instant reaction to that, before going on to your second point, I need some more water actually, but my first initial reaction to that is this game is you kind of have to be very proactive with this game, and so Sanctum is extremely punishing for learning. Like, more punishing than most of the bosses, because you don't have time to take in the environment and what's going on, because the movement has to be like tile perfect pretty much to dodge the telegraphing. Now the telegraphing is great, but it's hard to react and know what the heck is going on in there. Like, the learning curve is pretty steep. That is probably why it's one of the hardest boss encounters in the game. Not necessarily due to like the length or like the heavy mechanics. It's more so due to how fast you have to be and accurate with your movement. And that's hard to do in a reactionary way because this game has a delay. Like, it has an inbuilt delay when you move. Like, so I literally click here, watch. I click, now I move. I click, now I move, right? That is not reactionary. Like, you have to already know that, okay, this is coming in 1 second, I'm going to go there. Or that's going to come in 1 second, I'm going to bladed dive there and accept the delay. Now, I know that underneath the surface, when I click there, I am kind of there a bit earlier than when my character gets there, because that's how old school works. And old school has Rune Light, where it has a plugin to let you know your true tile. And the true tile mechanic is still in RS3, I believe, because it's just the fundamentals of the game. It's the game engine. I believe, hopefully I'm right with that, it's just you can't see it. So like my character is actually there a bit earlier, unless this is the true tile now, how it disappears, which I think it kind of is. See how it disappears before I get there? By like one tile. But what I'm effectively alluding to is you do kind of have to be more proactive with this game. So it's extremely punishing. So overall, like, Jagex do struggle to do encounters like that because it's almost unfair because of how proactive you need to be. But once you get the boss down and you understand the auto-attack order, and you know that it's switching from mage to range every single time with your protect prayer and all of that, and you have an idea when the telegraphing's about to happen and you're prepared and you've already got, you know, your clicking abilities, but you've already got bladed dive. See here with the green tick, like I've already got bladed dive ready to press. Like all of that stuff, eventually that's how you get better at the game and learn the boss fight and can defeat the boss fight. But it requires all of that. Those layers of skill as a RuneScape player aren't necessarily the same in a lot of other games, because a lot of other games might have WAS and D movement, which is instantaneously reactive to like as soon as you press it. So it's like a totally different, it's another layer to the combat skill other than all the other things you've got to think about. You have to, it takes me ages to get back into this game from coming from having a break when it comes to PVM, because you have to get used to all of those things again. That's my reaction to your first comment on that. Your second point is, they did such a good job ramping each boss up in intensity, mechanics teaching you as you progressed. Yeah, 100%. So that agrees with and supports what I said earlier. Absolutely. So the first encounter teaches you certain things. It teaches you to be ranged, and also you're only ranged praying on the first encounter, and then you're mage praying on the second encounter, and then the third encounter you're doing both, and then it allows you to kind of get used to praying one, like praying range, and then soul split flicking, and then just going back to one other protection prayer, you know. And you kind of do that with Nikatra as well. It's just you have to remember that, oh, now it's mage versus now it's range, you know, after so many attacks. After she does her special attack, she'll then switch to range or mage. So yeah, it kind of eases you in. And also the boss mechanics are kind of similar. Like the first boss and even the second boss, they have telegraphs where you have to dodge them. But again, they're not as quick, or maybe they're as quick, but they're not as punishing. Like you get into a bit of an easier rhythm. It's not as random. Like in the second boss, well, they're just not as random, right? You know exactly where they're going to be. Like on the second boss, based on how you move away from the telegraphed path determines where the next one's going to be. So you can almost drive that as a player, which makes it easier. And then it gets you prepared for just being full on reactionary on the third encounter. Now, I've done the third encounter quite a lot now, and I still haven't figured out, you know, it is pretty random still where they're going to appear. But you get into a rhythm of just being ready for it. You don't click and move too much. So you blade dive to a place, and then you wait for the next one, and then because your bladed dive gets reset, you then bladed dive again. You know, where I died loads learning is I'd bladed dive, and then I'd try and run back to where I originally was, and then she would mark another thing, and then it'd be miles away, and I'd be like, oh no. And I never surge because you don't have as much control, etc. So yeah, great opinion. That's the video, guys. So I think, you know, Jagex should definitely consider doing more boss rush modes on this game and capitalize on what they do best, which is really good in-depth boss design with mechanics. And obviously Nikatra as well has some DPS checks in there as well that can help speed up the fight, and they do a really good job of balancing that sort of stuff as well and rewarding the player for like improving how they play. It punishes you in that fight if you keep having to go into the realm and come out. There's a higher chance of you having another human error and dying. So it rewards people for learning the fight and then speeding up the phases, so there's less chance of you dying, right, in the long run. And then you can farm it more consistently for more GP per hour, or for the drops that you want for collection log, or whatever it is. And it's really nice how they scale it. You can still go in there solo versus like my preference is duo in there with Chewy, but they allow that option as well. So boss rush mode, fantastic. It was fantastic fun coming back to the game and seeing that that was in the game, and it's definitely been kind of one of my most fun PVM pieces of content to go and engage with. I have recently done Zamorak, as I've just posted a video on that, doing that with Eddie Muse and Chewy, and I love the group content that they can provide. you know, where it really helps having specific roles. That is definitely my ultimate favorite, where you have like base tanks or bomb tanks. Then you have high glass cannon DPS people. You have people maybe doing hybrid, etc. You have people with like heal other, or like K to intercept, or immortality into intercept. That sort of team play I love in a game. And again, RuneScape and Jagex can do that really well with certain encounters, like originally with like Virago. Then they did it with some raiding like Yakimara and Durzag. They did it with Solak. They've done it with Zamorak. So that's really cool too. But then that like high tempo kind of like chill into high tempo boss rush mode with Sanctum is also really cool. So like the fact that they've got variety now in those ways is pretty damn cool. So yes, Jagex, let's see more boss rush modes in the game. Really enjoy it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section with your thoughts. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to hear more thoughts on the game. And I'll see you guys in the next video.